Ladies and gentlemen, Ralph Edwards and the young doctor who is devoting his life to the sick and suffering people of the world, Dr. Thomas A. Dooley.
No, thank you, Dr. Thank you, Bob. Tell him again. What'd you just say to me?
I said this is a sinister conspiracy.
Shades of Lowell Thomas. Those words I'll remember. Well,
Who did you bring?
who did you bring? Well, we've got a lot of people to surprise you tonight. You've just been surprised by one fine gentleman from Laos. That
The Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Yes.
Just one fine gentleman, the Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Let's begin your story in 1954 in Indochina, where a bloody civil war is being fought. The fortress of Dien Bien Phu has fallen to the communists, and this red victory results in a treaty that splits the country of Vietnam in half. Denied their religion and hating red rule, the non-communists of the North begin to flee towards South Vietnam. What port city did most of these people head for?
Haiphong, the port of Haiphong.
If you see the situation clearly, you know it's grim, fantastic, overwhelming. And yet you volunteer to take on this task.
I'm a doctor.
Right. To see that this decision is typical of you, we need only look back to your younger days, when other big decisions come along. In 1944, you leave your home in St. Louis to start your pre-medical course at Notre Dame. You're just 17 when your older brother, Earl, is killed, fighting in Europe. As soon as you hear the news, you insist on enlisting. And what branch did you serve in, Dr.
I was a United States Navy corpsman in 1944, 45, 46. I served with the Navy, and then I was attached to the Marine Corps for that time.
Your courage is tested again when you're in medical school at St. Louis University. Your father dies suddenly, but you take over as head of your family. A constant guide and help to your younger brothers, Malcolm and Edward, are both watching you tonight.
Are they here?
No, they're not. You saw them just 2 days ago, I think it was, in Omaha when you won the Chris Award.
Couldn't afford to bring him, huh?
Ah!
Who did you bring? Get on with the show. Who did you bring? I'm looking at the audience trying
Things
to see
are tough
who's there.
all over, Doctor. Oh, anyhow, they're watching and mighty proud of you. You did see them in Tuesday.
I saw them just a few days ago.
That's right, in Omaha. During a summer vacation from medical school, you're serving America again in the Army ROTC when you're involved in another crisis.
From the Navy to the Army, and when I got into the Army, I went out and worked on the Navy again.
Is that woman of great mercy who gathered children from the battlefield your friend, Madame Nyagai?
Oh, Oh, formidable. Oh,
Dr.
how
Dooley,
wonderful.
Madame Nyagai has flown more than 4,000 miles to tell us about your goodness. Now, while she speaks in French, a language familiar to you, Dr. Dooley, an interpreter will tell us what she's saying. Madame Nyagai?
Docteur, vous avez donné des soins si tendres.
Doctor, you have given such merciful care to my children whose parents have been killed and the villages burned. You have begged food and medicine for us from the American ships. You wrote to the Americans to get vitamins and medicine from your great country. You have won the hearts of all the Vietnamese people forever.
Now, this is a shirt, I understand, made by the little children of the orphanage to you.
Dr. Dooley.
We love Dr. Dooley. It says it's signed by all the children. There's a handprint of the little blind girl and the little one you saved from the rats there. And
The
all.
orphanage van like Ngai, Thai,
Hi, yes.
Thank you for coming from Vietnam, Madame Nyagai, to take your part in Dr. Dooley's life. Thank you. In May 1955, the President of South Vietnam awards you his nation's highest honor. The United States Navy gives you the Legion of Merit. For 9 months, you have sacrificed yourself to your immense task. You have helped rescue over 600,000 Vietnamese. The drain on you has been so great, your weight is down to 120 pounds. Back in America, you write your best-selling book, Deliver Us from Evil. You go on a nationwide lecture tour. The money you earn, you set aside to finance a great dream. In Haiphong, your simple, loving care changed the people's fear into friendship. And now you're ready to act on your belief that medical aid given on a people-to-people basis could form lasting bonds between the East and the West. You decide to take your own medical mission to the Kingdom of Laos, bordering Vietnam. Why did you choose Laos, Dr. Dooley?
I wanted to go back to Indochina, and North Vietnam was in the hands of the communists, so I went to the neighboring state.
Here is just about the most thrilled boy in the world from Laos, your good pal, Juan.
Oh, when did you come? Oh, look at the ball. Oh. Oh, could you chime in that, Choma?
Dr. Dooley, our sponsor, Lilt, wants you to have this check to help out on Juan's American education, too.
$1,000.
Ladies and gentlemen.
For you.
Yes, for your education through Dr. Dooley. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a glorious work that Dr. Dooley and the other volunteer doctors and nurses of Medico are doing. They're risking their lives in remote areas of the world. They're taking medical aid to people who have absolutely no hope without them. Only you can keep this magnificent effort going. Send what money you can to Dr. Dooley, Medico, Box 2, Times Square Station, New York. Dr. Thomas A. Dooley, you've lighted a flame of mercy that burns now in the dark places of the earth. We'll all help you keep it burning. This is your life. Good night, and God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
My name is Nguyen Van Hoang. In 1959, in November, I came to the United States because at that time, there was a program, that This Is Your Life, for Dr. Dooley, and I was one of the persons that brought in for the program to surprise him. I was born and raised in North Vietnam, specifically from the province of Son La, which is not very far from the Laotian borders. I became a refugee in 1954 in Hanoi. I was introduced to Dr. Thomas A. Dooley, who returned to Laos for the third time. And at that time, he needs someone who can speak several dialects, so I can become a translator for him and his assistants. So he offered the job to me, and I went to work with him for a year and a half in Mung Sing.
We work entirely through our assistants. We discuss each case with interpreters and with the nurses on each side of us, and it is then decided how the patient should be treated. A Kako woman speaks to a husband who translates from Kako to Tai Leu. The Tai Leu tells the boy on my right there, who in turn tells me in Yao. The Yao to Lao, the Lao to French, and the French to English.